Hello everyone, this is Delay. This video is brought to you by Techno Hardware. Welcome to the fourth video of this C course of mine. It's been a while, to be honest, for you and me both, but we're gonna dive into the course without any chit-chats. Okay, so today I've planned to explain you a decision-making in the C. To be exact, I want to talk to you about if, else if, and else structure. If, else if, and else. Well, I'm sure it's more of a self-explained title, but I still want to explain it because it's one of the most used structures when it comes to programming, especially on AIs. I believe I've only explained an integer variable so far, right? So I want to introduce you to a brand new one, a Boolean type of variable. Boolean is a data type that we can store just like integer. The difference is Boolean has only two values, true or false. True or false. Technically, our true is 1 and our false is 0. I believe I've rambled about how machine language is a pile of ones and zeros. It's like this. It's like this. In previous lessons, yes, you guessed it, they are related to one another. And why did I start talking about a different type of variable out of blue? Because it's necessary to understand Boolean in the decision-making. The computer will try to understand everything by simply thinking, is this thing true or false? AKA 1 or 0. Okay, how does that work, you might ask? Let me show you. Let's show, not tell. Okay? So I want to write a program, an interactive one. Remember how we learned scanf, a program that determines whether a number is positive or negative. This is what I'm trying to do. So this is the skeleton of my program. I'm going to define an integer called a, but I want you to notice that I did not assign any number to it because I want my users to assign that value for me. You know, this is how an interactive program works. Let me write the codes. Write a number. I'm informing my user, and I'm informing my computer. This is where we inform the users that we want number from them. I don't want the user to give me a text instead of a number because my program is not meant for anything else. I simply want to decide if a random number from my user is whether positive or negative. Then there comes a scanf. That's the interactive maker of our program. Okay, so let's compile for now. We didn't get any errors. Everything is smooth. So yeah, at this point, we've received the number from our user. Now what? Here comes the best part, decision making. The reason why I'm making this video. If a is less than 0, then print that thing is negative. Remember how we use format specifiers? A is negative. Let's compile. So what I said here is really simple. All you need to understand is the syntax. I don't know if you remember, but I have talked about the semicolons and how after every function we must use them to let the compiler know that my line has ended. And I also mentioned that there are some exceptions for this. Yes, this is an exception. We don't use semicolon after if because it functions like another function within our main function. Okay, it might have sounded a bit confusing, but bear with me, please. Okay, algorithm-wise, what I did here is I told the computer to enter this enter this if box if my number is less than 0. And how do we name a number if it's less than 0? Negative, right? And that's what it says on my printf line. Let's run the program. Let's run my program. Let's write a negative number. It works fine. What would happen if I were to enter a positive number now? Why is that? It's because I did not prepare anything for my positive possibility. So what do we need to do? This is where the tricky part comes in. I'm going to start simple, but after a while, we're going to make some changes, okay? Else. So I'm saying if this is not true, then come to this. Else, printf, A is positive. Let's compile. Now let's enter. Okay, C works. Everything is supposed to be. Notice how else has no condition. This is my ifs condition and else has no condition, because if this is not working without anything, just go to this. If this is working, just ignore this. So if my if is working, ignore this. If my if is not working, then come to this, okay? Okay. I'm simply telling my computer that if my first condition is false, Boolean 0, then you may run else, because this is not true. If first is not true, then go to the second. If first is true, then no need to come to the second one, okay? Okay, so right now everything might have seemed very smooth. It's not gonna be like that forever. Hate to break it to you. Because I feel like there's something we miscalculated here. The exception. What is our exception? What is the number 0? Is this negative? Is this positive? No. No in both ways. So let's see how it functions when we run the program. Let's run it. Let's write down the number 0. 0 is positive. Is 0 positive? Well, technically, it's not negative, but it's not positive. It's in the middle, right? We don't want to get this. We don't. This is not something we want. You may think of this as your first bug because the program is not functioning the way it should be. 0 is not negative nor positive. I believe this creates another possibility. So let's talk about the change I've mentioned a second ago. I must have mentioned a change. If not, my bad. Okay, so there are 3 possible ways of using if condition. I'm just talking generally. If, else if, and else. So far we only use if and else, right? What does this do? Let's examine. I don't know if you have figured out, but these two are binded to each other, okay? One or the other is gonna run in my program, right? One or the other. If this works, then this one. If this works, this won't. Okay? They work together. Only and only one of them can work at a time, but they are still linked. This is also how else if works. This one. It works just like else with one exception, one important exception. It has condition. And we can write multiple of them. So there are 2 conditions. There are 2 exceptions. So I want to change this part. Okay, I want to write else if. How can I write it? What is my condition to this? How can I write this? A is greater than 0. This is how my function is supposed to be. I can also use this or this, right? I just can't just delete this and let it be. It just doesn't work like that, okay? Let's run this one more time to see if it still works. I notice I only write 5 when it comes to positive. Okay, 1 is positive. Everything is right, okay? So our third option. Let's take a look at our third option. In case my number is 0. I don't have another option. Physically, there is no other option. Literally. So I won't use one more else if. More than one else if. It's unnecessary. I will simply use the else statement. Okay? So what is the other condition? Printf. The number is 0. I don't need to use a format specifier because there's only one possible way that my if structure can go into this, and it's this. Printf. The number is 0. Positive, negative, everything works, right? Here we have it. We have a successful program that can determine whether a number is positive or negative. So, okay, so there's this other subject that I wanted to discuss, but I've been avoiding it, to be honest with you, because it's a bit tricky and it might not make sense right away because we haven't seen functions yet. But I've been avoiding it for long enough, so I don't want to do it anymore. What is this thing I'm talking about? The return command, okay? Return. If you're familiar with programming a little bit, you might have known this. But if you're not familiar, if this is your first time, it's totally okay as well. We've been defining our main function as int, right? We've been defining our main function as an int. We write int main blah blah blah. These are blah blah blahs. Functions in C are meant to return things, except for void. Void. But I don't want you to think too much about it right now. We didn't receive any errors so far, but if we dive a little deeper in programming, we probably will get some errors if we keep avoiding this command. So better safe than sorry, right? I don't think it will make much sense if I were to try and explain it to you. So let's call it a day for now on this topic, okay? Let's just call it a day. But I promise I will explain it to you in the future. But I think I'm going to cut this part right here. We're going to make 2 more examples to get a better grasp on this topic, and maybe even start on switch case too. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like, and maybe give it a like if if that's something you want to do. I will see you in my next one, okay? Goodbye.